Oh, have you got the handheld one? We'll use that for the first half. It's not responding.
Oh, really?
So what I'll do is we'll handhold it and then I'll fix it at half time.
Oh, you mean a microphone?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, no.
Are you sure he's not working, or?
Yeah, it's not responding on here unless you're getting levels. One, two, three. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Frank Holohan Soccer Complex for this massive clash in respect round in the NPL Victoria. My name is Bryce Ruthven, joined tonight by Matt Sultana. And Matt, we have got one hell of a clash in our hands here tonight in Dandenong.
Yeah, definitely both sides are quite keen for the 3 points tonight. Obviously, 3 points for Dandenong City will mean that they get to move, away from the drop zone, and for South Melbourne, they can stay within touching distance of the finals, which after 3 consecutive wins, you'd probably think that they're pretty keen to make the finals this year.
Well, no doubt you're watching us on social media, and if you are a big fan of the NPL Victoria page, what you will notice is some big signings for the home side tonight, Dandenong City, in the aid of 3 ex-A-League players in Adrian Lear, Carl Valeri and Brendan Santalab, and all 3 make their appearance tonight for Dandenong City.
Yeah, obviously I think Adrian Lear and Brendan Santalab came in last week, but there was no Carl Valeri, but he's on the starting 11 this week. So they're 3 heavy hitters that they've recruited mid-season into the squad, so definitely a sign that they want to start picking up points quickly.
Well, let's check out the starting lineup for Dandenong City. Number 21, Stipo Andresevic. Number 19, James Kelly. Number 25, Adrian Lear. Number 13, Greg Lombardo. Number 24, and the skipper, Luke Pilkington. Number 1 in goals, Demir Salchin. Number 11, Brendan Santalab. Number 10, Samuel Sibatara. Number 8, Zach Thompson. Number 14, Jaden Unmack. And number 6, Carl Valeri. And we'll go to the South Melbourne lineup here, Matt, and I'll let you take over with that one.
Yeah, so for South Melbourne, in the starting 11, number 20, Zachary Bates. Number 35, Melvin Beckett is on the bench. Number 15, Ben Gibber. Number 3, Christian Constantinides. Number 9, Valios Constantinides. Number 2, Perry Lambropoulos. Number 7, Giuseppe Marifiotti. Number 5, Jake Marshall. Number 1, Nikola Roganovic. Number 10, Marcus Strone. Number 18, Konstantinos Stratomoutros. And number 45, Jerry Siliadis. And on the bench for South Melbourne is Lee Monopoulos, Peter Skapetis, Josh Doran, and Melvin Beckett.
As you see, kick-off and an early attacking threat here from the new signing from Brisbane for Dandenong City. Getting his... did he play last week, Sibatara? I don't think he did.
No, I don't think he did at all. No, I don't think he didn't for South Melbourne, no.
Roganovic clears it over the halfway. And a very strong header there from Adrian Lear, using all of his experience. Just letting the marksman know for South Melbourne that he's got one battle on his hands. And look, this is the kind of 3 signings. There's been a lot of talk in the league, throwing cash around and whatnot, but they're 3 big signings that can basically do what Danny City have done, try to keep themselves in the top flight for next season.
Well, if you look at Dandenong City's seasons thus far, you'd probably make an assessment that they've lacked probably a quality player in each line. So they've gone out and gotten that. They've got Adrian Lear in the back line, Carl Valeri in the midfield, and Brendan Santalab hopefully to bang in the goals for them. And like I said, they've just lacked that quality in the spine, and they've definitely gone out and recruited that.
And with that does come a lot of pressure on the home side tonight. And there's a pretty decent turnout considering the weather. It's about 9 degrees. It is wet and it's raining, as you can see players slipping over there at the back, and Carl Valeri slides in. And we'll see a throw-in to South Melbourne. It's a typical night here at Frank Holohan Reserve in the winter. It's very cold. Mind you, it's not too windy, which you normally get here.
Yeah, it's very wet and very cold conditions, but the winters seem to not arrive quite yet, and neither is the fog. So, so far it's probably going to be pleasant viewing for the viewers at home.
Well, make sure if you are watching at home in the comfort of your lounge room, nice and warm, no doubt, Get in touch with us on social media as we see a chance here at the back stick. But referee Sean Evans does call a foul. There is a large A-League feel to this, particularly because Sean Evans did call the A-League Grand Final only a couple of weeks ago at Optus Stadium in Perth and was front and centre for that now infamous Panenka from Sanderlab.
Yeah, I'm sure if Dandenong City get a penalty, I'm not sure Sean Evans is going to remind Sanderlab of that penalty, but a couple of grand finalists that have popped down to the Frank Holohan Soccer Complex here on a Friday night to enjoy some NPL football.
Yeah, it'd be rude not to bring that up at some point during the night. It's going to happen all season for the poor guy, but he had a great career as a professional, and no doubt Dandenong City are appreciative of his signing here for the rest of the season. As you see, Lair on the ball here, looking for a wide position. He does find Cibatera on the right-hand side. He goes one-on-one. He's got some room, goes to turn him, takes down to the byline, and wins his side at corner. Good start for Dandenong City. One thing that we haven't had too much to say about that in the opening stages of the season.
Yeah, Dandenong City have had a good start thus far. They haven't had great starts in previous games, but it's probably something that they're going to definitely look to curb as the weeks go on.
Corner being whipped in. You might be able to see past the leafy trees here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. The ball's whipped into the near post. Looks like a training ground move, but it is cleared by the South Melbourne side. Just looking to get their shape again, and it's a very intriguing contest because South Melbourne have been one of the form sides of the past month.
Yeah, definitely. They've come off the back of wins against the likes of Altona Magic, Heidelberg and Bentley Green. So South Melbourne, they've definitely turned their season around since the departure of Kontangalakis. And like I said, in the as the teams were walking out, they're really within arm's reach of the finals and really breathing down the necks of Altona Magic.
And what have you made of the new South Melbourne coach? He's definitely a character on the sideline for us to enjoy.
Yeah, definitely. I think Esteban is very animated on the sidelines. He definitely paces up and down the touchline, and he's definitely a one to watch during the game.
Ball's played up. Finds Cibatara. Comes down, and a very strong challenge from Konstantinides, the international striker for South Melbourne this year. What have you made of his form in the last couple of weeks? He has got on the score sheet, but he's still finding his feet in the league.
Yeah, look, Valios Konstantinides hasn't played a lot of football in the last couple of years, obviously moving from Greece in the off-season, but he's the type of player that I think South Melbourne have lacked since really Milos Luic last season had those injuries and then obviously his departure to the Oakley Cannons, but he just gives them an outlet up front, so he's definitely a player that he chips in with the goals here or there, but I think he's probably most dangerous when he really drops in between the lines and looks to get the ball at his feet.
Kelly looking to slot through the ball there. Just can't quite find his mark on a slippery pitch here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex in Dever Hills. Reganovic. Nice kick out. Finds the left-hand side. Referee Sean Evans waves play on. Not much doing there. What about the new coaching staff for Dandenong City? Obviously a lot of experience on the bench now. I'm not saying that they didn't have it with Zelko before that, but they have definitely got a lot of professional games under their belt now.
Yeah, well, Sasha Ogonowski is definitely one that adds something to their bench. Obviously having an illustrious career, I believe was Asian Footballer of the Year one year when he was playing over in South Korea. I mean, I think the famous story is he went from being a carpenter playing for Preston Lions to Asian Footballer of the Year, all in the space of a couple of seasons. So, look, he adds a lot of experience to that bench. And Ante Moric is a very passionate coach and has definitely ignited the passion back into this Dandenong City side.
Yeah, something they're definitely not lacking the last couple of weeks. We did see it last weekend at Avondale. They almost upset the undefeated league leaders who did lose during the week, midweek to the other Croatian side in a competition, the Melbourne Knights, and a great performance. That was live streamed too. And called by our colleagues Chris Gleeson as the ball's whipped in with no option on the left-hand side for Dandenong City. Must admit the crowd looks predominantly South Melbourne on the hill over there, but they're coming out of the shelter here from behind the goals at in Dever Hills. And look, it's not raining at the moment, but one thing that could add a bit of spice to this game and a bit of feeling is a bit of a downpour.
Yeah, I think the wet conditions would probably make it quite a physical contest, and I'm sure that would please both fans who have travelled here tonight to see their sides compete.
Reganovic, he goes long, meets the halfway mark, and James Kelly is seen to have fouled the South Melbourne player in the middle there. Not too much movement in front at the moment. Forced to play it long. And does so to avail. Marafiotti. Valera looks to slide in. But Marafiotti goes down. And Sean Evan does pull up the free kick on that one. The coaching bench not too happy with the fourth official. The poor fourth official. He's going to cop a beating tonight with Oganovsky on the sideline.
Yeah, definitely. Well, one thing that I picked up 2 weeks ago when I was here with Demir was that this poor fourth official is going to cop an absolute earful from the Dandenong City benches. Look, they'll contest for everything. They'll fight for everything because really, Dandenong City right now are in the fight for their lives. I mean, they're up here in the top flight and they want to keep their spot. So you can definitely see the fight, not only in the players, but in the coaches.
And it's also worth pointing out too, this weekend in the NPL Victoria, it is respect round 2. Obviously, they've seen the Facebook and social media posts on that one. As we've got Marcus Schrone on the free kick. Did score the other week at Paisley Park against the Altona Magic. Whips it in with the left foot. Finds the back post. And Sean Evans pulls up a foul. Not too sure what that was for, Matt, but a bit of relief there for City.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what the foul was. I think it was Jake Marshall with the header there, but Demir Sultan with a great little save nonetheless. But a foul, it goes. So it looks like Dandenong City have a goal kick or free kick. Yeah, I can't really tell. He set it up for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's in the 6-yard box. There's not too many complaints from a referee where it goes. Sultan does play long. Finds the head of James Keller, who finds Santalab. But Jake Marshall does very well on Santalab there to put it out for a throw-in to the City boys. Finds Stippo. Got the chance just to regather the ball here, City. Ball's played in. Looking for Santalab again. Just can't find his feet. And Stippo goes up for a challenge. Wins the attacking header. Look, one thing in the opening stages I've got to say about City from the last time I saw them was a lot more composure in the side, Matt.
Yeah, not so frantic. I think when they started the season, everything was frantic. Everything was kind of panicky, and that just happened that they leaked goals because of it. And if there's one thing they definitely has improved, their ability to win the ball and then their ability just to keep it for a little bit longer, because that's probably what they lacked, I think, at the start of the year.
And Sean Evans awards South Melbourne a throwing on this near touchline in front of our commentary position. Challengers coming in. Valera is not afraid to get out of it, even in the NPL level. And the tight pressing of Dandenong City does win themselves a throw-in in front of the Dandenong City coaching bench here. Ball comes up the line. Finds Andresevic. Looks for Santalab, but it's intercepted by Konstantinidis. Ends up with Schrone. Marafiotti. Uses the hands there. Quite a blatant handball, that one.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a blatant handball there by Samuel Sibatrua, who I believe has come across from Brisbane City. So
He has, yeah.
up in Queensland. I'm not sure, Bryce. Can you give us a little bit of insight to Brisbane City and what they're like up there?
Yeah, look, they did have John Cosmina, former A-League coach, in charge, and this year he stepped aside into a different role at the club, but was one of the better players in the side, and obviously is taking the opportunity to come down here to Dandenong and see out the rest of the season. Don't know if he's on a longer year contract or might just be the rest of this season, but definitely settled in quite well and does look like a decent attacking threat on the right-hand side for Dandenong City as the ball's whipped into the back post. Bodies flying in everywhere, and it results in a free kick for Dandenong City. Out of all the clubs in this transfer window, Matt, Dandenong City definitely has to be the one side that's made the most changes.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they're probably one of the sides that they had to. I think I saw on their Facebook page they've released something like 5 or 6 players. So, look, they had to make changes. I thought they signed players at the start of the year that you probably thought, oh, that's a bit of a strange fit. How's that going to work out? And, look, it probably didn't work out. And, obviously, one of them was Dean Piemonte, who's really been so good for the Oakley Cannons in previous seasons, but he's switched to the Dandenong clubs. Now he's fitting out for Thunder, or probably should be fitting out for Thunder this week. He was one that was almost totally absent from this Dandenong City side throughout their first half of their campaign.
Ball comes wide. Dandenong City will restart here on the near touch line. Might hear Sasha Ogdanovsky barking out instructions from the sideline. The Dandy City bench just playing it simple. Play what you see, don't force it. Ball does go nice and simple. Finds James Kelly on the left-hand side. Finds Pilkington, who just looks to force the ball into the middle there. Valeri brings it down. Finds Stippo. Some strong challengers coming in. Sean Evans happy to let them go. And James Kelly has the ball on the left-hand side. Trying to weave his way through in the wet conditions. Just can't quite keep it under control. And the ball's up with Constantinides at the top. Schroen plays a beautiful ball through. He's onside, Marafiotti. The City defender's not too happy in the coaching bench, but we were right in line with that, and he was definitely onside. May have heard Sasha Ogdanovsky not too happy with James Kelly in the previous play. Very loud and clear. It's great to have personalities like this in the NPL Victoria for the remainder of the season. Sabatira brings down on the chest, puts onto his right foot, has a shot and puts it right across the face of goal. Santalab just couldn't stick his foot out. That's definitely a chance going begging for City to go 1-0 up.
Yeah, it did. Samuel did extremely well there to bring that ball down over the top and cutting that ball, kind of a bit of a cross shot there, but no one was there to tap it in. But so far, it's been really promising signs from Dandenong City early on.
And an interesting thing I've just noticed with the team sheet tonight. South Melbourne during the week signed Pettis Skapetis from Dandenong Thunder, but he's not on the team sheet tonight.
Yeah, I thought I saw Pettis' name.
He's on there, but no tick, which means he's not on the bench. And looking down to the right-hand side, can't see him on there.
I'm not too sure what's going on there, but nonetheless, South Melbourne have signed him, obviously, from the Dandenong Thunder. I think that was probably one that I think most people expected Pettis Skapetis to probably make a move in this transfer window. I mean, he just, it was always going to be a question of how him and Brendan Barnes were going to work down there at Dandenong Thunder, but it was quite obvious that Dandenong Thunder played their best football when Barnes played up front by himself. So I think Skapetis really struggled to really establish himself in that squad as a regular goal-scoring player. So, look, the move to South Melbourne probably should help him. Boyhood club, obviously, was a junior here and I believe is a long-time supporter of South Melbourne. So, a good pick-up for South in their front line.
And he stitched me up because he's just leant forward as soon as you started talking. So he is on the bench tonight, as is the other new signing, Melvin Beckett from the NPL 2. City just looking to reset here through Salchin. What have you made of his return to the club last couple of weeks?
Yeah, look, I think Dandenong City, look, they definitely struggled in terms of the goalkeeping department. I mean, they were kind of in and out with goalkeepers throughout the season, and yeah, there was a bit of rumours going around that Demir Salcha might be coming back to play for the Dandenong City. And look, he's played. I thought he played quite well last week against Avondale and made some top saves. As I believe that's a yellow card there. I'm not sure to who.
Yeah, Constantinides earns the first yellow ticket with a slide challenge on Adrian Lear. I think the influence of the Denny City bench might have brought the ticket out of the pocket there from Sean Evans, but it is respect round, so do have to respect the FFA's referee of the year, that he's got the right choice. It's no Optus Stadium here at Frank Holohan Reserve, but it's the same sort of dimensions of the pitch, so no doubt he knows the soccer field quite well. Valeri plays in Sibatera. Ball's played wide. It goes out. And Jaden Unmack will have a thrown on the near touch line.
Yeah, Jaden Unmack's a really interesting one because when you saw the signing of Adrian Lear, I probably thought 2 weeks ago that he was going to be the one that was probably going to miss out as Dandenong City have a bit of a chance here.
And it just goes over the bar from Brendan Sansalab. His first clear-cut chance of the night. Really, 2 chances in the last 2 minutes for Dandenong City. South Melbourne have got to be careful here because they're leaving their back line quite exposed.
Yeah, a couple of unconvincing clearances there from South Melbourne, and Sansalab ends up getting the shot away. And then if this keeps up, I probably think Dandenong City are going to find themselves on the score sheet pretty soon.
And Adrian Lear puts it out for a header. Thrown on the near touch line here. Not too much movement in front from the South attackers. Ball's played up the line. Finds a header Cibatera. Plays long, looking for Brendan Sansalab, who was nowhere to be seen on the last man. Kelly going down the left-hand side. And a good block there from South Melbourne, from Ben Gibber. Just looking at the way both sides have set up here in the opening stages, they're allowing a lot of space to Carvalari, and it's not really something that you do want to allow an inch to.
Yeah, well, interesting about these two sides. I thought both their games last week were extremely open. I mean, the Bentley-South Melbourne game was just end-to-end, and so was the Avondale-Dandy City game. So, look, these are two sides that are going to try and score goals, and, look, they're going to go all out for them. So, look, I expect that this game is going to be very open throughout.
Constantinides looks for the inside option, just can't quite find it. Kelly cuts in central and has a shot and sprays it over the back fence for a goal kick. James Kelly does seem to be getting quite a lot of the ball at the moment. Suggestion could be to maybe look at getting another player involved with him because he's going one out a lot of the times at the moment. Yeah,
it seems just to be a bit of a lack of an overlap there by Luke Pingleton, really. A couple of times Jay Kelly's picked up the ball on that left-hand side, and it seems to be a tactic here from Dandenong City to seem to target the youngster and Ben Gibber, and they're definitely trying to switch that ball to Kelly as quick as possible, but like you said, just a lack of an overlap from the likes of a Luke Pingleton.
Yeah, haven't seen too much of Salados in the opening stages. One man that can be quite a threat, the youngster for South Melbourne. As we see Adrian Leo just giving some advice to Ondresevic, saying, be aware for that second ball. He told you, and you weren't aware. That's what comes with signing the experience, boys. Always thinking one step ahead of the others. Unmack. Finds Cibatara.
I think it's interesting when you talk about Adrian Lay because I think Adrian's, 29, 30 years old. I mean, these are prime years for a central defender. I mean, these are usually your best years that you get, given all the experiences that you built up throughout the year. So, I mean, Adrian Lay is really a huge signing for Dandenong City. I mean, the experience he has, and really, he should be in the prime of his career.
Is he that young? I thought he might have been a little bit older than that.
Wikipedia is going to...
We'll jump on Wiki in the next couple of minutes, and we will confirm that. If you're on Facebook Live or YouTube, feel free to put in the comments there if you know Adrian Lee's age. I'm going to say he's around 35 from memory. He did spend a couple of years in Korea, had some success. 33. There we go, halfway in between. So he's probably got another couple of years under his belt, especially at this level, to show what he can do, and definitely valuable for the youngsters like a Jaden Unmack, who he's playing next to tonight, as we see him shoved over again. And this could be a second-year yellow card here for Constantinides, and the Dandenong City players are calling for it because that was actually quite dangerous play there, Matt. We'll keep an eye on this because Adrian Lee has gone down and they're saying it's a head injury. And I reckon we might see a second yellow card in the first half here to Constantinides because he has been riding a fine line with some of these challenges. And Sean Evans having a chat to him at the moment, as you can see on the screen. They're calling for a substitution. It could be a bad injury here, and
yeah, just having a look at the replay there, look, that's got to be off. I mean, he's got to get his second yellow. I mean, Adrian Lay could be in serious trouble here. I mean, he clearly shoved him into the back and into the ground, and I think the trailing boot of Demir Salchin ended up catching Adrian Lay. That is a serious incident. I think Sean Evans has got to get him off here. I mean, you just can't let him get away with things like that. Just confirmation, yeah, I mean, Adrian Lay, I think he's still down here.
And the Dandy City players not too happy. We've got all players bar 2 around the referee, and Carl Valeri calling for the substitution on Adrian Lear. Apologies. Quite a bit of concern around Adrian Lear at the moment. Got another injury concern here for Sibatara. He's getting some tension on his shoulder just below us, and could it be a dislocated shoulder?
It looks like he's got some serious discomfort in his shoulder, and he doesn't seem to be moving that arm all too well. I mean, this could be really a nightmare here for Dandenong City if they're going to lose 2 players in this incident. Looks like Samuel does have some type of shoulder concerns.
Well, Adrian Lear is the man down with a very rash challenge by a man sitting on his first yellow card already. To be fair, we both share the same opinion. It should be a second yellow and he should be off before half time. But the A-League referee of the year, Sean Evans, is quite happy just to have a chat to him. And you can see the Dandy City players still around the referee. And I know it's respect round, but I think you've got to respect the opponent as well. And I think there wasn't too much of that shown against Adrian Lear.
No, I mean, it was quite an obvious shove too. I mean, he clearly shoved him in the back, and I mean, I really feel for Adrian Lear because he could have been seriously hurt in that incident. And it looks like Sasha Ogonowski is going to get a talking to here.
We'll just try and keep an eye on this conversation because we are in ear's reach of it, and he's just saying to the coaching staff of Dandy City just to calm down the sideline. You might see the Constantinides coming over to apologise to Ogonowski, who doesn't seem moved one bit, isn't too impressed. Yeah, no,
and Sean Evans' explanation of this situation is quite interesting. He's saying if I give a yellow card for pushing, I've got to give 10 yellow cards in a game. But I mean that's short. You've really put Adrian Lear in a dangerous situation there. So, look, disappointing to see Billy Constantinides stay on here. He really should be off.
Well, Adrian Lear has gone off, and we do see Stephen Topalovic being ready in front of us here in a commentary position. And Jake Sibatara looks like he's all right to stay on. We'll keep an eye on him because he was nursing a shoulder injury while that was all going down in the back play. Don't forget, you can keep your comments coming through. And thank you very much from the 4th official there, confirming Adrian Lear has been replaced by Stephen Topalovic. Can keep your comments coming through. If you've got any views on what just happened moments ago, let us know either through YouTube or the Facebook live stream. We'll get to some of your comments. We have got confirmation too from David and Dean that Adrian Lear, who just was replaced, went up the tunnel injured, is 33, so we were spot on there. Matt, good work, Wikipedia.
Wikipedia comes through in the end, but look, concerning signs there for Adrian Lear coming off. You would probably suspect some sort of concussion injury there. I mean, clear shove there by Billy Constantinides, so very lucky man still to be on, I think. Yeah, we did see the replays, and we've both said, Matt and myself, that it was a second yellow and he should be having an early shower. But we're not the referees here tonight, and the Dandy City bench not too happy with Sean Evans and the 4th official. It's going to be one of those nights, I think, Matt, that there's a lot in the line here, particularly for both sides, and Dandy City, especially being at home, looking to save their season. Yeah, definitely. I mean, Dandenong City, like I said, they're in the fight for their life right now to try and stay up in the top flight, and South Melbourne to try and stay within touching distance of the finals. So there's a lot on the line in this contest. And look, we did lose Adrian Lear from the match, but the replacement, Stephen Topalovic, is more than capable as a centre-back, and they don't lose much in terms of ability. Maybe just the leadership as such from Adrian Lear, but Topalovic more than capable of playing a centre-back. Yeah, I mean, Topalovic has got a lot of experience playing at this level, for many, many years. So I think it's a suitable replacement there for Dandenong City, but I'm sure they would have liked to have brought Topalovic in for more of an attacking role later in this game, but nevertheless, he's probably going to have to do a job at centre-back. It's good to see Lubo Milicevic on the call tonight, getting involved in the comments. You can get your comments coming through as well. Many coming through saying it was a clear send-off, and we don't want to take sides, but we definitely have to agree with that, as we do see a challenge from Adrian Lear's replacement on Constantinides. Maybe a reminder of what happened moments ago. And he's got a big clash, as we see Marcus Schroen just simply give the ball away, just without any pressure from the free kick. Interesting decision there. As the ball's played back to Souchin. He goes long, looking for Kelly.
Ends up on the head. Stippo not too far from the ball, not looking too interested getting involved either. As Valeri goes to shut the play down. And the ball does go through to Bates on the far side and finds Salados, who finds Bates in an offside position. But Dandenong City clear their lines. Pilkington finds Ondresevic. Valeri in the middle. Plays Sibatara. Finds Ondresevic. Happy to go back to Unmac. Finds Valeri. Ondresevic. Looking for the run of Santalab. Doesn't happen. Valeri peels off, looking for Santalab. Does find him. Goes one-on-one. Looking to get in the right foot. He'll get a strike off. And the ball's blocked by Jiba. Gives South Melbourne the chance just to relieve some pressure. And they turn the ball straight over. And ends up with Topalovic. Valeri in the middle. Plays back. Thompson. Does well to control the heavy touch there. Very slippery here. Frank Holohan reserve tonight. The pitch not in too bad a condition, considering the weather. Santalab working with Kelly. And Kelly just looks to force the ball through. Probably not the right option there, Matt. He had other options available that were probably more appropriate.
Yeah, definitely Dandenong City enjoying some nice spells of possession here. And like you said previously in the call, much more composed on the ball now, starting to move it around, trying to find feet, trying to find players in between the lines. So Dandenong City really in total control of this game thus far.
Because he's on the call, it's worth mentioning, Lubo Milicevic, I know he's retired, but would he be interested in a gig in the NPL Victoria? Maybe at Dandenong City? It'd be great to see him back here. I know he had a spell in the NPL or NPL 2, was it last couple of years?
I believe the season after, before last. He was obviously here at Dandenong City. Yeah, he was at Dandenong City. They had a great start to the year, but unfortunately some injuries really hurt their second half of their campaign. They really let that title slip away, and they did back it up last year by getting promotion. But I think one play everybody missed last year for Dandenong City was definitely Lubo. It was a strange decision, not to keep him, but look, I'm sure everyone would love to see him back here at Dandenong City, but I'm not too sure if we will. I think the lifestyle up in Sydney is too good right now.
Does seem to be enjoying himself at Bondi. Maybe there's a spot in the commentary box for him in the NPL Victoria. We might have to make that happen, Lubo, if you're still watching. There we go, maybe. We'll get you on the next flight from Bondi. There's a big game tomorrow, I can assure you of that. As the ball is whipped in. Ends up with South Melbourne and Unmac. Just finds Topalovic. Happy to keep it. Looks to whip the ball in. Finds Sibatara and finds Stippo. Edge of the box. Gets onto his right and slips in. Sibatara just can't quite make the pass. It was on there if it did find the target. Valeri loses out and brings down Marafiotti and will earn himself a yellow ticket. The second card for the game. First for Dandenong City. With a bit of a light challenge, that one, Matt.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to infuriate the Dandenong City bench even more. But nevertheless, Carl Valeri goes into the book for Dandenong City's first yellow of the game, and South Melbourne opportunity here to keep the ball and try and create something with it.
Well, let's see what Constantinides can do with this one. The last one that they had in the same spot was given away by Schrone. But Constantinides looks long, finds the edge of the 18-yard box, and find Pilkington, who is happy to clear his lines. Schrone finds Jiba. Santalab gives up on the challenge, but doesn't nutter because it comes out to Pilkington. Pilkington goes forward and goes down. Referee waves it away, and Salados on the ball. Valeri looks at the long option for Sabatiera. Marcus Schrone with plenty of space in the middle. And the ball's kept in. Marafiotti does well there. On quite a fast surface here tonight at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. South just looking to save it. And called offside. Much to the delight of the Dandenong City fans on the far side on the hill. I can just see in the background here, this is quite interesting. An ambulance is just rocking up at the soccer complex. The guess would be for Adrian Lears. They did say it was quite a bad head knock, and he was taken straight up the tunnel. He did walk off, but must be quite a serious injury from what we could see in our vantage point.
Yeah, well, he didn't walk off himself. He did have
With the assistance, I should say.
Yeah, he did have to have some help getting off, and I think that it did look like a pretty serious knock, and you'd hope that he's okay. But seeing that ambulance come up the hill at the Frank Holohan Soccer Complex would probably suggest otherwise. I assume that he's probably going to be off to the hospital right now, and I hope he gets well soon, and I hope he's okay because it did look like a pretty serious head knock.
Well, we've cracked over 1,000 on the YouTube live stream. 250 on the Facebook as we see Stipa Ondresevic with a chance and just gives it away. It is a big clash. Friday night football here in Endeavour Hills, the only match of the NPL Victoria, which is quite unusual, Matt. We normally have quite a few to pick from on a Friday night.
Yeah, some Friday nights it's like we've got five games on it on a Friday night all across the state. But the only Friday night game here tonight. So I think this type of scheduling probably suits the streams a little bit better.
Sure does, and we love being here tonight. Is a chilly 9 degrees at the moment in Endeavour Hills. A bit of mist around as always expected here at Endeavour Hills on a Friday night with a late kickoff of 8:30. And Marafiotti happy to clear his lines just to relieve the pressure from Dandenong City that they're shown. The ball has been in the attacking half of Dandenong City for the majority of this first half.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I think Dandenong City really been in full control. I mean, South Melbourne, they're trying to defend in this 4-4-2 block, but players are just getting dragged everywhere, and it's just creating so much space in between the lines. And when you've got the likes of Santalab and others in that front third, I mean, they're going to find the ball at their feet quite often, and I think that's what's happening right now quite a lot.
Ball played in the middle, and Shrone goes for the first time to Konstantinides, but no communication between Konstantinides and Seledios. Ends up with James Kelly on the left-hand side here, going one-on-one with Jiba. And in this occasion, Jiba, the youngster, does end up with a win next to his name in that battle. Salados in the middle. He's got some time to look forward, but he's got 5 defenders in front of him and Konstantinides at the back post. So he's forced to keep it. Konstantinides is throwing his hands in the air, blowing up at the challenge, but to be fair, he was nowhere even in the vicinity to get the ball there.
No, and he's got to work harder to get the ball at his feet because he's really putting in minimal effort. He's getting caught offside quite a lot of times. So, look, Billy Konstantinides, he's just got to work hard to get the ball at his feet because right now he's really just walking around, to be honest.
He has been heavily involved in the opening stages of this match. You can keep your comments coming through as well on the Facebook live stream. We've got it in front of us, and we'll visit the best comments of the night. Obviously, a lot of conversations going around about Adrian Lear's challenge. It did see him leave the match about 10 minutes ago. As we see his replacement, Topalovic, look long to find James Kelly. He's trying to use his body. He doesn't win out, but in this occasion it doesn't matter because he has won his side. A throw-in through Jaden and Mack. Goes down the line looking for Stippo. It's one thing that you might not be able to hear it through the microphones, but Sasha Ogdanovsky has been in the ear of Brendan Sansalab for all but 1 minute of this match because he's not happy with what's happening up top. He's quite static, Sansalab, I've got to admit. Yeah,
look, at Dandenong City, they seem to be making quite a few changes along their front line. They've swapped Jay Kelly and Samuel Nowes, and they swapped wings, and they're trying to demand more out of Santalab. I think they just want those players to get in between the lines a little bit more and try and pick up the ball and try and create something a bit more in that final third because right now they're moving the ball side to side quite well, but there's not a lot of penetration. Yeah,
just got a question coming through about the bench of South Melbourne tonight. So we have got the new signings of Melvin Beckett and Pettis Kapetis. Also, Lee Monopoulos is on the bench as well as Josh Doran. So there is some great options on the bench, particularly in Lee Monopoulos and Pettis Kapetis, the new signing during the week that can maybe add something in the second half for South.
Yeah, Lee Monopoulos, who I believe was also player assistant coach, and Pettis Kapetis could probably bring something on. And I'm not too sure about Melvin Beckett. I think you probably know a little bit more about him than I do, given your time you've spent down at Altona Magic. But what can you tell us about him, really?
Yeah, a bit of a live wire. Has been in the NPL 2 this year and obviously wanting to get back to the top flight and has his chance with South Melbourne. Did quite well last week when he came on off the bench, as we do see a chance here for Bates. It does come through. We have got Salchin come out, tries to clear it. He does quite well there, Salchin, because he'd lost the ball, but on the second gather, he collected.
Yeah, Dandenong City did well to break. South Melbourne did well to break away quickly there, and Zachary Bates is showing the type of pace that he does have. I know he's been quite lively in the under-20s competition, but former Melbourne City man, Melbourne City youth player himself, but he's lightning quick, I can tell you that right now. So on the break, look for him.
Well, it's been a big talking point the last couple of weeks. What do you think has clicked at South Melbourne that's put them in such a great vein of form the last couple of weeks? Because as you did say earlier in the broadcast, they've knocked off some big teams in the past couple of weeks.
Probably just, South Melbourne are coming down this right-hand side now.
That is Bates looking for an option, and Constantinides just flat-footed in the 6-yard box. Ends up with Carl Valeri on this near touchline. Got Sipatara on the line. He does look for the long option, but Constantinides does deal with it quite comfortably. And Salados goes down to a challenge of Carl Valeri, who is already on a yellow card at the moment. But yeah, getting back to your question, what do you think has been the moment that it's clicked with South Melbourne to bring on some great results?
Well, some ears in the South Melbourne camp tell me that it's just a little bit more belief from the players, and definitely a lot more harder work being put in, and a little bit more commitment to their structures and to their game plan. So I think belief and work rate is probably upped in the last couple of weeks, and like you said, they've topped off some big guns. I mean, they were, at one point I think they were 3-0 up against Heidelberg. They put away Altona Magic, and then they obviously put away Bentley Greens last week. So some big scalps for South Melbourne in the last 3 weeks.
They do say that winning does become a bit of a habit, and South Melbourne definitely have that bug in their system at the moment. But can it remain in the system? We'll find out at the end of 90 minutes. Currently 0-0 here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. Still about 8 minutes to go, plus stoppage time in the first half. Salados meets the ball on the right-hand side. He'll take his space. City just sitting off and whips the ball to the back post. Does find Zach Bates. He's got Unmac in front of him. Sipatara comes back to help, and Salados finds Shrone, who'll have a hit in the left foot, and there's a shot there, and Constantinides puts South Melbourne up 1-0, but unfortunately, for us getting way too excited, the ball has been called offside. Much to the delight of the Dandy City faithful behind the goals.
Yeah, some quick ball movement, and Billy Constantinides at the back post smashing the ball in the back of the net, but unfortunately was in an offside position, so the celebrations have been halted here, and Dandenong City will have a free kick here, but South Melbourne, they thought they were 1-0 up there, but unfortunately offside has ripped their hearts out right there.
And wouldn't that have been a stamp on this match? The man that did go through in the nicest way possible, Adrian Lear, who did send him off, currently getting treatment in an ambulance at the club rooms, could have been the villain here tonight in more ways than one. As we see James Kelly at the other end with a shot, and it goes out for a corner at the back stick. We thought it was dribbling in, and the City faithful behind the goals this time thinking we've just scored, but it's unfortunately gone out for a corner, Matt.
Yeah, great save there from Nikola Roganovic, who's been in fine form in the last couple of weeks. Jay Kelly smashing that ball low and hard, but Nikola Roganovic quick to react and gets enough to tip it wide for a corner here for Dandenong City, but from heartache to nearly conceding there for South Melbourne, so some warning signs there from Dandenong City. There is a question in the comments about who is Topper's centre-back partner. That is Gregory Lombardo, number 13. So Gregory Lombardo, I believe, switched over to Dandenong City in the second half of last season from Whittlesea Rangers.
Jaden Unmac with Salados, and Salados wins out, and he goes one-on-one forward. He's got Carl Valeri in front of him. Sluts in Zach Bates. He's got a one option. He has a shot. Salchin does well at the near post. And he'll just settle his boys down there. Just give them a chance to regroup, because the last 2 minutes has been absolutely hectic here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. Considering the conditions, it's actually been quite a high-quality match. Yeah,
definitely. The conditions have been wet, which generally tends for a high-tempo game of football, and we've seen a little bit of that thus far. There is a comment in the comment section saying that it was onside, but unfortunately we do not have the luxury of VAR here, so we were not able to see the replay.
It didn't matter in the A-League Grand Final, Matt, from a Sydney FC fan.
Well, there you go.
As we see, Constantinides looking to get onto the ball, and it's just Lombardo just forces the ball wide there. Look, we shouldn't bring up the VAR because it didn't matter in the end. It took a penalty shootout to win.
Yeah, that was a long night of football, I can tell you that.
About 5 minutes remaining in the first half here. Score is Dandenong City 0, South Melbourne 0. And the cross comes in, but finds ahead of former Victory defender Luke Pilkington, who can only find Marafiotti on the far right-hand side. He'll go one-on-one to Pilkington, does well to get past him, puts the ball in, and Schrone on the head just across the face of goal. We'll find Bates. The ball comes back and it's whipped in. Finds ahead of Carl Valeri, playing his first match tonight for Dandenong City. One of the big key signings for City in the past couple of weeks. Looking to keep the men in blue and red in the top flight going into 2020. Constantinides. Happy to keep the ball here, South. They spread it one to find some space. And they'll do so through Marafiotti. Switch flanks. The take on Pilkington, he'll get the ball in. Remains in. And he's done well here. Can get the ball across, and a great save at the near post from Sauchen. Danger not over yet. As this will be a long-range effort. But the City keeper, Sauchen, does well. They're definitely an end-to-end match. Not what I expected coming here tonight.
Yeah, definitely both sides really trading blows here in this game and going tit for tat. And it's a very open game, and both teams have had some chances in this game to take the lead, but neither have been able to find the back of the net, or South Melbourne did find the back of the net, but it was offside. So, definitely maybe we might get a goal before half-time.
Yeah, both sides here are getting chances, so could happen in the next 5 minutes. Be interesting to see what the stoppage time is here. We did have quite a lengthy break before as the ball is whipped in, and Luke Pilkington will win his side a corner. Worth noting too, this round of the NPL Victoria is Respect Round, all about respecting the match officials. And so far tonight, the A-League Referee of the Year, Sean Evans, has had a bit of a tough assignment on his hands, hasn't he, mate?
Yeah, he had a tough decision to make, and I'm sure people are divided on that decision as Dandenong City whipped this ball in. But obviously it's Respect Round, so it's all about respecting the officials. And I think really besides that one incident, there's been a lot of respect going around. So I think it's been all good thus far.
It's the R word for the weekend. Of course, keep an eye on the Football Victoria and NPL Victoria social media channels to keep an eye on that as we see Marcus Schrone spread the ball wide, and it's called offside for Zach Bates. Zach Bates just asking Schrone for the earlier ball. Did have the chance to get in behind there from quite a deep position, but just ends up with Sauchen, who will take the free kick from about 35 yards outside the white posts. Don't forget, you can keep your comments coming through the live stream and through YouTube as well. We will visit the best comments of the night. If you're watching the live stream, hopefully you're tucked up nice and warm and not sitting in 8 degrees like Matt Sultano and myself at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. Mind you, it's not too bad here in the commentary tower.
Yeah, I expected worse. It's not too cold, but it's been a pleasant Friday night. The rain stopped and football's picking up, so hasn't been too bad. As Billy Constantinides looks to break away here.
As we see, 3 minutes of stoppage time added, and Marcus Schrone on the ball, edge of the 18. Does well to strike it there, and a great save from Sauchen, the Dandenong City keeper. If South can get numbers forward here, nice and quickly, they have got a chance because Dandenong City have left Stippo and Santalab up top. So there is a bit of room around the edge of the 18-yard box, and they find it with Jiba. Gets onto his right, looking to get the shot off, but just can't quite find it. Valeri in the middle. Looking to find a space and has to go all the way back to his goalkeeper in Sauchen. He'll play it long. Looking for Sibatara. Kept in by Constantinides, and Sibatara will put it out. Looking for the throw-in, but the assistant referee on the near touchline doesn't want a bar of it. Sibatara finds the middle, finds Valeri. Looking for Santalab. Sibatara just rides a challenge there, but does win his side a free kick with about 2 minutes remaining in the first half. An opportunity here for Danny City to get on the scoreboard before half-time.
Yeah, and it looks like Dandenong City probably going to roll the dice here and try and pinch a goal just before half-time. Demir Sultan's really chipped in with some good saves in the last couple of minutes to keep them in this game. But definitely Dandenong City are pushing some numbers forward.
Interesting to see Steven Topalovic, one of the bigger bodies in the side, staying back at halfway, maybe carrying an injury. So they don't want to push him too much. As you see, Thompson whip the ball in to the penalty spot. Reganovic comes out. Santalab gets on the head. And Brendan Santalab finds his first goal in the NPL Victoria moments before the halftime break. And the Dandenong City faithful, they erupt behind the goals here at the Croatian Club at Endeavour Hills. And Matt, a goal out of nothing.
Yeah, Zach Thompson whipped in a nice ball there, and Nikola Reganovic came out for that, and I think he clattered into Stratamutros, his own player, and then as a result, I believe it was Brendan Santalab's resulting header that ended up in the back of the net nonetheless. So it looks like 1-0 to the Dandenong City, but Esteban Quantas is absolutely ropeable on the sidelines, such as Lee Monopoulos was not happy, and it looks like Esteban Quantas is going to get a yellow card here for his protest. I'm not too sure about that, Bryce. What did you think? I mean, Nikola Reganovic, he did clatter into Stratamutros, which was his own player. I mean, does the referee have to protect the players there and stop the game, or does he let it go?
Well, this is the thing. They do say the goalkeepers get a lot of protection, but when he's come out to claim a ball and he doesn't meet the ball, well, I think that's a mistake from the goalkeeper, and especially if he's coming to the back of his own player. What do you do? It's sort of let the attacking options keep going. So we've just had confirmation too from the Dandenong City coaching staff that Adrian Lear has been taken to Dandenong Hospital to get checked out by some specialists. It was quite a nasty injury. And that is the halftime break here at Frank Holohan Reserve. The late goal from Brendan Santalab, one of the new star signings for Dandenong City, does put his side up 1-0. And Matt Altano, as we go to a halftime break, your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, I thought Dandenong City did really well for the first 30 minutes, and then South Melbourne did create some chances. They obviously had the goal that was ruled offside nonetheless, but then really Dandenong City, they rolled the dice there in the end and whipped in the ball from Zach Thompson, and situation between Nikola Reganovic and Stratamutros meant that Brendan Santalab had all but nothing really to header that ball in the back of the net to get his first goal here for Dandenong City in NPL Victoria. So, look, South Melbourne, they're still protesting somewhat with Sean Evans. They're not too happy about the decision, but they will go into the sheds 1-0 down.
Yeah, my name is Bryce Ruthven, joined by Matt Sultana. We'll be back in around 10 or 15 minutes. Set your phones on for YouTube and Facebook. We'll be returning in a matter of minutes here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. Referee Sean Evans about to get things underway here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. Bryce Ruthven joined by Matt Sultana. As you see, James Kelly on the near touch line here. Just looking at the ball, and he'll go for the switch. Looking for Sibatara, the new signing from Brisbane. He's got some space on the far right-hand side and whip the ball in. Looking for Stippo, and Brendan Sandelab looking for his second of the night and can't quite meet it. Pilkington, he'll go in behind, but it will sail out for a goal kick to Roganovic. And Matt, it's going to be a big second half here, particularly with Dandenong City looking to hold on to this 1-0 lead and South chasing the game.
Yeah, definitely. I think South are going to have to open up now. They sat back and sat quite deep in that first half, but if they're going to want to get 3 points out of this game here tonight, they're going to have to open up and try to move that ball around a little bit more and try and create some more chances, because they can't just sit back and let Dandenong City ride out this result.
South at the back there with Constantinides. Don't forget, you can keep your comments coming through the NPL Victoria live stream, or of course through YouTube as well. We'll get to the best comments of the night as they come through. As we see James Kelly look for Pilkington on the left-hand side, wearing the skipper's armband tonight. Thompson finds the line with Kelly, uses his body well, beats Jiba, ends up with Pilkington, and the ball will sail out for a corner. No, Sean Evans is awarded a throw-in. Just an update too on Adrian Lear as it came over the half-time break. He has been taken to Dandenong Hospital to get some tests done and some scans. Quite a serious injury to the head. Was a bit dazed. There's a bit of blood as well, so we hope and send our best wishes to Adrian Lear that all is well. He can return to the park in the near future. Ball's coming from everywhere, going over the back of the pitch, coming from the other side of the pitch. The Dandenong City coaching staff don't want a ball on the pitch, so got to play this game with a ball, unfortunately. Looking to try and waste time nice and early. And Sean Evans awards them a throw on the near touchline near the City coaching bench. Ondresevic holds the ball up, looks at Pilkington, makes a run inside, and he does well to get around the outside and puts the ball across. And Dandenong City claiming a pass back, but nothing doing there from the A-League referee of the year, Sean Evans, who is in control of this match tonight. Constantinides just chasing the ball down for South. Goes down quite easily, but does win his side a throw-in. Temperatures are dropping here tonight at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. I've come dressed as if I'm about to go to Antarctica. You not so much, Matt.
Yeah, you've definitely rugged up, but just as you said that, I can feel the cold chills coming through.
There is actually a chill that has just come. As soon as I did say those words, it's getting cool. No rain at the moment, a bit of mist about. You do expect that here on a Friday night, though, at Endeavour Hills.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the mist is from the Chavapis or if it's from the coldness, but I agree, the temperature has just dropped. It is getting cold.
Well, if anyone from the canteen or the club rooms is watching, hold some for the 91st minute. We'll be over there to get a feed as the ball comes out through Zach Thompson. And he looks along for Santalab, who chases down Jake Marshall too, does beat him to it, and puts it out for a throw-in. Luke Pilkington in no rush to get the ball back into play. And Ondresevic doing quite well tonight. Is a man that has seen a few injuries in the previous seasons, but does look to be coming into some sort of form in the past couple of weeks.
Well, I think game time does that to you, and he's definitely picking up the minutes this season, so staying injury-free and definitely starting to look like towards his full potential, so it's promising signs for him.
Yeah, did show it at Melbourne Knights a couple of seasons back and earn a contract with Bentley Greens, but that's where the injuries started to kick in, unfortunately for Ondresevic. As the ball comes along, ends up with Constantinides looking for the foul, and Sean Evans does call it, and Constantinides a bit Theatrical does go down off the ball and is calling for the coaching staff of the side, holding his shoulder. So maybe there was something that we didn't see in the challenge, but he stayed down holding that the rib or the left pec. I'm presuming that he has pec, being an NPL athlete.
Yeah, I think it was just a little bit of follow through there from the Dandenong City defender, and he's probably played it up to try and get the free kick. And I apologise for any language you just picked up here on the stream, but we are very close to the technical areas.
Ball's whipped in from Schroem from deep, comes across the face, and James Kelly just gives his goalkeeper Sauchin a bit of a moment just to hold the breath. And for a side that's 1-0 up at the moment, the Dandy City coaching staff aren't too happy with their boys. And this might be why an easy option down the left-hand side. Coming across, Bates on the ball, has a strike, and finds the left knee of Stephen Topalovic.
Yeah, back to your point there, probably considering how many goals they've conceded this year, defending is probably going to be a point that they're going to be quite stickling on. So, Dandenong City, they're just trying to make sure that line's organised and they don't cop any more silly goals like they have been really throughout the first half of their campaign.
You see Marcus Schroen on the corner on the far side here. You may see the miss setting in here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex through the live stream. Sitting on about 8 degrees here at the moment as the ball's whipped in. And Andresevic plays it out, finds Salados, and the ball's whipped back out to the space where Schroen is. Does well, puts on his right foot, whips the ball into the back stick, and Constantinides goes up for a challenge, doesn't win it, and Marafiotti sees it out for a South Melbourne throw-in on this near touch line. It's quite interesting being next to a coaching bench with Sasha Ogdanovsky coaching aside, because you learn a lot of new words, a couple of new phrases, and he's very passionate about the sport.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question was always going to be what was going to be his role, and I know on a piece of paper he's down as a technical director, but he's a very involved technical director.
He's a very involved technical director. I would go a head coach / technical director. But that's just our opinion here in the commentary box. You can get your opinions coming through the Facebook live stream as well, good or bad, whatever they are. Remember too, it is Respect Round this weekend in the NPL Victoria. And that's towards everyone as we see Marcus Schroen whipping a ball. Salados ends up with it. Gets it back to Schroen, who has to stretch for it. Whips it in with the right foot, and it's not his favoured foot, as we've just seen the ball goes out for a goal kick, Matt.
Yeah, some early signs here from South Melbourne trying to get themselves back into this game. It's a big 3 points on the line, obviously. So they're going to have to open up and they're going to have to try and create some chances here in the second half, because they did create some chances in the first half, but they were unable to get past Demir Salchin, all besides that offside goal that was for Billy Constantinides. But South Melbourne, some better signs here in the second half.
Plenty of comments coming through. One from someone I know, a referee out in the Gippsland League, Andrew Rees, asking where the game's being played. I haven't said enough. Well, Dandenong City Soccer Club, we'll go with that, Matt. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, I guess we'll go for that if it's irking to me, people. But just confirmation, we are playing at the Frank Holohan Soccer Complex.
There we go, someone else. And thank you very much to everyone joining us on the live stream tonight. Big numbers tonight. It is the only Friday night game in the NPL Victoria. Love for you to get involved with us here, of course. We're braving the elements here. Luckily for us, no rain. Just a bit chilly. I actually, this afternoon, invested in thermal socks to come here because I knew it was going to be a cold night, Matt. What about yourself?
Yeah, I did pack the beanie and the gloves. I did think it was going to be a lot colder, but the weather's it's kind of calmed down a little bit. So it's pleasant. It's pleasant for football here as Zach Thompson stands over the ball here for Dandenong City.
And it will be that man to whip it in from about 45 yards out. He's got a very flat line in front of him, whips to the back post, and Pilkington brings down Jiba, who brings down his own player, but referee Sean Evans, the A-League referee of the year, is just happy to let that play on for a Dandenong City throw-in on this near touch line. Pilkington finds Andresevic, who turns his man, but finds the hands of Reganovic, who looks for the early release, but just hasn't quite got the numbers. And this is one thing that South have dropped off in the second half. That early release and that quick phase of transition. They had a lot of it in the first half.
Yeah, well, I think in the first half we saw the speed of Zachary Bates. He got in behind, and Demir Sulchan had to make a comfortable save. But like you said, they're just like that, those quick breaks. I mean, those quick breaks forward, players making runs in behind, just seem to be lacking that. They seem to be trying to slow the game down, but it really just has probably suited Dandenong City more in his second half.
And some very strong challenges there from Luke Pilkington, and just disappointed with Carvaleri there, just blocking an option. But must say, I think Jeeba just got a bit of a wake-up call from Luke Pilkington at what it's all about to play at NPL level and how strong some of the play can be. As you do see that man, Jeeba, just being asked by referee Sean Evans just to go back a couple of yards, trying to get every inch forward. Pilkington's over the ball on the near touchline. Tabalovic spreads it wide, looking for Sibatara, the new signing from Brisbane City in the NPL Queensland. And he does well to win his side. A foul there. Looked quite dangerous tonight, hasn't he, actually, coming down from Queensland. Obviously, he wouldn't be used to the cold weather down here, but settled in quite nicely.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably prime conditions for him to play football. I mean, no humidity, no heat, so yeah, different change of climate for him coming down here from Melbourne, from Brisbane City. And
just to confirm, Matt, it does actually get cold in Queensland. I can vouch for that.
What's cold in Queensland? Like 25?
20 degrees, yeah.
Okay.
The ball's whipped into the back post. Andresevic, and Reganovic does well to save it in the post. He was called offside, but Reganovic, very impressive save down to his right. And it could have been 2-0 if he stayed onside. Yeah,
Reganovic can probably make a highlight reel with all the saves he's had to make in the last couple of weeks. A good little save there, but nonetheless it was offside, as Stippo did find himself at the back post. So, nevertheless, Dandenong City have a free kick here.
And of course, one big absentee for South Melbourne in the back line is Luke Adams. What have you made of, obviously, a season-ending injury the other week? And how do you think they've dealt with missing his experience and leadership at the back?
Well, I think in some weeks they've struggled, but probably in the last 3 weeks they've enjoyed some nice form. But look, South, I think early in the year they were conceding a lot of silly goals, and that was letting them down because they were creating a lot of chances, but they weren't really taking them. So, look, I think having the experience of Luke Adams back in their back line is probably going to help them in the second half of the season.
I did notice too a very nice gesture from the South Melbourne club. A lot of people do give the club stick for whatever reasons, probably personal reasons, but they did show a lot of support for their centre-back, their Kiwi international, who did suffer a season-ending injury and looks like he might be out for 12 months. But it's good to see when a club gets behind someone like that, because it can be a tough time for a player of his quality to be out for such a long period. Yeah, definitely. And, you see some clubs, they just player gets a season-ending injury and they just cut him straight away. So it's good from South Melbourne to show that courtesy towards him. Yeah, it'd be great to see more of it. It is respect round 2, so that is one great sign of respect from South Melbourne to one of their key players that won't be part of the rest of their campaign this year. As we see, just a cheap turnover there. Steve Topalovic clears his lines, and Jake Sabatera wins his side a free kick towards the halfway position on the far side, just near the hill. There's a comment in the comment section saying time for Lemonopolis, but it does look like Melbourne Beckett is kitted up and ready to go. So good shout for the substitution, but just off with the name. But it looks like Melbourne Beckett is going to come and introduce himself into this game very soon. Yeah, well, very interested to see if they use the new signing of Pettis Skapetis too. Obviously, A-League experience, played over in Europe, and did start the campaign with Dandenong Thunder, as we see City, and James Kelly at his near side. Reganovic does very well to get down to the right-hand side and earn a corner for Dandy City. But Skapetis has been one of those players that had a bit of mixed fortunes with Dandy Thunder. Called him a couple of times this year, and I thought he looked quite dangerous, but obviously just didn't fit into their system of what they wanted to do this year. Yeah, like I said earlier, I think Dandenong Thunder played their best football when Brendan Barnes was up front by himself. So that made it hard for Skapetis, and I think it was inevitable that eventually his time at Dandenong Thunder would come to an end. But he's found himself a new home here at South Melbourne. Ball's whipped into the near post. Zach Thompson finds Carvaleri, whips into the back post. Great ball. and finds ahead of Constantinides. And Brendan Sandslab has been pinned here for an off-the-ball challenge. They're calling for an elbow to the face. He's earned himself a yellow card. The goal scorer in the 46th minute of the first half. It was a stoppage time goal. You'll be able to watch that at the end of this live stream. Worth checking out. It was an interesting goal. It was something out of nothing.
It was a Brandon Santalab goal, I think that's what.
Yeah, correct, a very typical Sandslab goal.
You know, something out of nothing, but he always found the back of the net. He made a career at Western Sydney doing that. He obviously made a bit of a later career move to Perth Glory doing that, so he's kind of known for scoring those scrappy goals, but every team needs a player like that, I think.
So you see Marcus Schrone just get out muscling the ball. Have got a comment come through from Queensland from an old coach of mine, Matt, saying it does get quite cold. -5 in regional Queensland in Warwick, and it's 16 degrees in Rockhampton at the moment, so it does get cooler than 20.
Well, I didn't know that, but amazingly, it does get cold in Queensland. Didn't know.
Take you for a trip up there sometime. I think you'd like Queensland, Matt. As we see a change, Andrasevic coming off, being replaced by number 17, Liam McCormick. Doesn't look too happy to be coming off, Stippo. No player ever is, but quite visibly disgruntled to be coming off. But Liam McCormick, not a bad replacement. A bit of a reshuffle maybe, because they're not a like-for-like player.
Potentially. I thought Stippo was doing quite well, and he looked really dangerous, so I don't know, strange one. But Liam McCormick, obviously, Liam McCormick coming on for for Dandenong City against his old side in South Melbourne. And
more defensive-minded?
You probably think so. Probably trying to just shore things up, and it looks like Zach Thompson's going to push a little bit further forward and try and give them a bit more creativity in that final third. But, probably a bit more of a consolidating move there from Dandenong City.
Ball's played long, looking for the easy outlet, but Jaden Unmack does quite well there on the far side. Got some calls coming through for the introduction of Melvin Beckett. Don't think it's too far away. Pettis Kapetis warming up as well. Down to the right-hand side for us. Very interesting to see, as I said moments ago, what he adds to this South Melbourne team. He adds something a bit different, and I think he's a player that's more useful out in that right-hand wing.
Yeah, and you can probably see in this game thus far here is James
Kelly, and James Kelly bends that into the top right-hand corner and says, "What is doing, South Melbourne? We're going 2-0 up Mount Sultana."
Well, there you go. Kelly finding the top right-hand corner in off the crossbar. Really just a goal out of transition there, transition moment. Kelly cuts in on his right foot and just lofts it past, and Reganovic with really no chance really to save that. Really got the cobwebs out of that top corner, and wow, Dandenong City take a 2-0 lead. Probably right as South Melbourne are about to throw on some subs.
And we can't say it hasn't been coming for James Kelly. Had plenty of chance in the first half, and the fact that South Melbourne couldn't identify the fact that he was a key man for Dandenong City tonight, you got to ask questions, and one of those questions is being answered because we are seeing the introduction right now of the new signing, Melvin Beckett. We'll see it in a moment as Sean Evans does allow play to continue. We're going to see a double substitution as well. Both Melvin Beckett and Pettis Kapetis coming on. Going on the left-hand side, the ball just sprayed across the face and will go out for a throw-in.
And you know yourself as a coach, football's all about moments, and you've really got to make those changes at the key moments. So I guess the question is, has South Melbourne missed their chance to make these two subs because they're now in a really difficult situation?
Yeah, well, they were looking at making a moment to go and held off, and they copped a goal. So you'd have to say that they made the wrong decision there, the coaching staff. And their coach, I'm not going to even try and pronounce his name because I want to get it remotely right, but he's very animated to the right of the camera, trying to urge his side on as we see Salados coming off, being replaced by Melvin Beckett. And Zach Bates, the other substitution for Pettis Kapetis, making his debut tonight for South Melbourne for 2019, as the South Melbourne boys aren't too happy with what's going on at the moment.
Yeah, Jerry Salados I thought was very quiet this game, so I think it's a fair sub. I was surprised to see him come out in the second half, but Zachary Bates is probably the most dangerous play for South Melbourne, so he was probably the most frustrated of the two to come off there, but yeah, you got to wonder South Melbourne. I mean, really, what can you ask of Melvin Beckett and Peter Kapetis? They're 2-0 down away from home. It will really take a big effort to come back here in the second half.
Well, it's a lot of pressure to put on your substitutes going into a game at 2-0 down, but hey, they've been signed to make a difference, and this is their opportunity to do so and adhere themselves to the South Melbourne fans. As we see Beckett go into an attacking central midfield role and Pettis Kapetis on the left-hand side for South as Carl Valeri clears it up looking for Santalab, who cops a shove from Jake Marshall, but the referee, Sean Evans, happy to let that play on. And Jiba, the youngster, does quite well and goes down from Zach Thompson in a dangerous position for South Melbourne.
Yeah, dangerous position. They got some dangerous players on set pieces, especially Billy Constantinides. But on one point there, Melbourne Beckett, interesting signing because he won State League 1 with Altona Magic, and they didn't continue with him. They did let him go for their NPL 2 campaign, which obviously they also won promotion. So interesting to see him back at NPL 1 football.
Yeah, see if he can make a difference tonight. Maybe on this set piece that Marcus Schroen is standing over. As you can hear, Sasha Ogdanovsky, the technical director officially for Dandenong City, barking out the instructions. And the South Melbourne coach is just clapping away, just like no one's watching him whistling. As Marcus Schroen whips the ball in to the near post. What is he actually doing, do you think, Matt?
I think he's trying to, I don't know, maybe it's a ritual or something, but he was whistling and clapping endlessly, and I don't know if it's a tactic or something, but there was no movement.
I'd love to see one of their training sessions, what he's like at training. I reckon he'd be the sort of coach that's in there making tackles.
Yeah, he's very animated, let's just say that.
Got a corner here, Marcus Schroen whips it in, finds the front post. Constantinides goes down quite easily, and the ball ends up back on the right with Schroen, who whips it straight in to the back stick. Chance here for South Melbourne, but they can't quite take it. Drew Constantinides, and Souchin looks for the quick release, but the coaching staff beg him to take a breather and slow the play down. And he throws it out as Constantinides is just fixing his boot on the penalty spot. Gives a chance for the game to settle down for a second here. Don't forget you can keep your comments coming through the Facebook Live and YouTube channel as well. NPL Victoria, it's a respect round, so all matches played this weekend will have one key message, and that is respecting all the match officials. As you see, a Holt's in play here, and the ball does go back to the Dandenong City keeper in Souchin. South Melbourne coaching staff urging their team on. Souchin will go long here. Find ahead of James Kelly. And finds Zach Thompson, who goes down from the challenge of Jake Marshall in a very dangerous position, Matt. Opportunity to go 3-0 up here.
Yeah, big opportunity to go 3-0 up. I believe we may have just lost our Facebook viewers, but I believe we still have our YouTube viewers. Hopefully the stream does come back up quickly, but I am aware that we have lost it as and Dandenong City have a great opportunity here from a free kick to extend their lead to 3-0.
And it will be Liam McCormack over the ball. Can hit a set piece. We have seen it before at Bentley. When he spends some time there, he can hit one. Reganovic is setting his wall. Sean Evans, the referee, just looking at what's going on with the wall there. A bit of interference from the Dandenong City players, but it's a common trait these days in the NPL Victoria. He's got Pilkington on the left. He'll go on target, looking for the top left, but Reganovic does well to bring it down quite comfortably in the end. Reganovic just picking up some extra meters. Playing it off the deck. Just seen some vision, Matt, from the coaching staff. I've just been sent a text from Dandenong Hospital of a big cut behind the ear of Adrian Lear. Looked quite nasty, so yeah, it just brings more questions to why Constantinides wasn't sent off in the opening half, but that's another question for another time as James Kelly goes down the near touchline, takes on Giba, and does well to force him to play it out for a Dandenong City throw-in.
Yeah, well, hopefully, hopefully Adrian Leia can recover quickly from that injury. Obviously, a cut to the back of his head. So we wish him all the best and a speedy recovery. But look, this is in his last 20-odd minutes. What has South Melbourne got to do to get themselves back in this game? You'd probably think a goal would do, but and
it was almost a goal there from the new signing from Brisbane, Sibatara, looking for the corner. It did take a touch off his foot. There's a bit of wishful thinking there from Jake Sibatara, but another wake-up call for South Melbourne that there's still a game in hand and they're still chasing it with 2-0 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, really, probably all but that first 5-10 minutes. It's almost like South Melbourne haven't come out of the sheds. I mean, the hunger's there for Dandenong City, but I'm not seeing it really from South Melbourne. I'm not sure about you, Bryce, but they just look a bit flat, don't you reckon?
Yeah, look, they needed some sort of spark, and you'd think the substitutions of Beckett and Skapetis could add that, but they need something, and it's hard to quite put your finger on what it is at the moment because there's not a lot of life in this South Melbourne team.
Yeah, it just seems very flat, and just they kind of need a spark of energy. And look, maybe a goal will give them that. But as they look to break away quickly here on this left-hand side, but it looks like an overhit pass. But it just seemed to be lacking that spark right now.
Yeah, trying to force the issue there, and Marcus Schroen just sprays it out, much to the delight of the faithful from Dandenong City on the far hill. As we alluded to before, we are aware at the moment that the Facebook live stream is currently down, but don't forget you can watch it through the YouTube live platform as well. Hopefully our Facebook live stream will be back up and running very soon, so you can catch all the action here of NPL Victoria. The only Friday night game, a very rare occurrence in the NPL Victoria to have only one Friday night match. But it is one great match with two teams looking to make a difference on the home run for 2019. See Zach Thompson over the ball. Looking to whip it in. Finds the penalty spot. Finds Kelly too, but can't do much with it. And McCormack's on the ball about 40 yards out. Spreads it left to Pilkington. And they'll win themselves a throw-in. About 18 yards down from the corner flag. Kelly does well to get away from Giba. Ball comes in, and Thompson looking for the chance there. Valeri puts it back in, but McCormack gets the ball just near halfway. Sibatara skins his man. Has looked quite dangerous, gives away the foul, and it's been a very impressive match for the Queenslander coming down to apply straight here in the NPL Victoria.
Yeah, and Perry Lambropoulos just over-committing there and got turned inside out there by Sibatore. So, look, it's, warning signs again there for South Melbourne that if they lose their cool, they could find themselves really, truly out of this game. So, look, they need to find some sort of spark to get themselves back in it. But right now, it's really all Dandenong City.
And James Kelly's been a big part of that in the last couple of minutes, and he's on the ball now. Takes a jib on his left. Jake Marshall does well to break the play up there. And we'll end up with a Dandenong City throw. And let's touch on the other matches this week, because we've got a fair few games on for the rest of the weekend. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock, we'll see Port Melbourne take on Avondale. What are your thoughts about that match?
Yeah, an important match for both sides, really. Port Melbourne really need a win to stay within distance of the finals, and Avondale obviously want to just cement their spot atop of NPL Victoria and probably try and claim that qualification spot for the national NPL finals. So, yeah, look, that could be an interesting game. Is it at Port Melbourne or at Avondale's ground?
It's at Port Melbourne.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, you probably fancy Port Melbourne to be really up for that game and try and give Avondale a tough game after they had a tough loss midweek to the Melbourne Knights in the FFA Cup.
Yeah, Heidelberg take on Green Gully at the Olympic Village. That's the Green Gully versus Altona match last weekend. And, just saw a different side with Green Gully from what we've seen in the majority of the season that have put them up in that top 6 or thereabouts.
Would you say they're probably probably lacking a little bit of form right now. And look, Heidelberg probably really want to get a win after probably a bit of run of mixed results. So they probably might want to put the sword to Green Gully if they're not up for it tomorrow.
Yeah, particularly at the Olympic Village. You can catch that game from 6 o'clock. Another game on at 6 o'clock is the game that the two of us will be calling. Altona Magic taking on the Melbourne Knights, and will be very buoyed by a fantastic FFA Cup result on Tuesday night.
Fair to say, I think that game's probably the game of the round, really, with the most implications. Altona Magic and Melbourne Knights. Obviously, it's no secret Melbourne Knights' form has dropped off a little bit in recent weeks, and they did get that great win midweek, which would be filling their confidence right to the top. And Altona Magic themselves will be looking to try and establish themselves a little bit more like they did earlier on in the season and pick up some more consistent 3 points to make sure that they definitely are playing finals football at the end of the year.
Yeah, and both teams did announce some new signings on Facebook during the week, and Melbourne Knights did lose their spiritual leader in some sense. Uscock has gone up to Sydney United, has taken a family back to Sydney.
Yeah, a bit of a double blow because they've obviously, Mickey Kalina parted ways with the club midweek, and then they lose Uscock after the FFA Cup game. So, yeah, look, I think the interim coach, Sitrovic, right now, the player interim coach, has probably got his work cut out for him in this game against Altona Magic, I think.
Here's a real relegation battle at 7 o'clock at George Andrews Reserve. Dandenong Thunder taking on Kingston City. That is a massive clash in the scheme of things.
Well, I mean, is it too early to say? If Kingston lose that game, they're really in serious trouble. I mean, they're almost, you'd think at that point every game's going to be a grand final if they lose that game after that. So they desperately need 3 points, and Dandenong Thunder will also be desperate to get 3 points because it's no secret the teams around them are on the way up and they're definitely recruiting heavily. So, yeah, look, that's a big game with big implications.
Yeah, on Sunday afternoon we've got two games. Oakley Cannons taking on Hume City. Hume, buoyed like Melbourne Knights, defeating Bentley in a FFA battle of all battles, really. The two most successful FFA Cup teams in the history of the FFA Cup doing battle on Wednesday night, and Hume taking out the victors.
Yeah, Hume City, I think one word to describe them this season is just consistent. I mean, they've had consistency off the field, and that's resulted in consistency on the field. So they've had some good results in the league and some great results in the Cup. So they look like they might be heading towards the national stage if they can get through a couple more hurdles. And they're coming up against Oakley Cannons, who have had some good form in recent weeks and are looking to turn their season hopefully into a finals contending season. I know they had a really bad start to the year, but you'd probably think that at this point now they should have settled down and should be starting to pick up points.
Well, they seem to have got rid of their issues in terms of players and off-field dramas that they had and really started to find some form. And the final game is at 6 o'clock on Sunday night, an unusual time at Kingston Heath. Bentley Greens taking on Pascoe Vale.
Yeah, look, Pascoe Vale had a really horrid run of results as a cutback here. It's a goal.
And Brendan Sanslab with his second goal of the night. Cheers on with the Dandenong City faithful, like he did at West Sydney Wanderers, and puts his side 3-0 up and surely locking in the 3 points here at Frank Colohan Soccer Complex. And another win on the board for Sasha Oglanovsky and his men.
Yeah, absolutely ecstatic, the Dandenong City supporters. I believe it was a cutback potentially from Valeri, who found Brendan Santalab, who really a cute little flick to find the bottom right-hand corner and really seal all 3 points, and showing why he has come from Perth Glory to the Dandenong City. He's here to score goals, and he's done that tonight.
Yeah, people are questioning what they're worth, and you're worth what you give back in goals, particularly as a striker. So that should answer some of the critics of Brendan Sanslab returning to the NPL Victoria as he puts his side up 3-0 with 10 minutes plus stoppage time remaining here at Endeavour Hills. Plenty of good action ahead on the weekend. It is Respect Round 2, and there's some big games. As we said, the game we're calling tomorrow, we're looking forward to Altona Magic and the Melbourne Knights from Paisley Park. But if you can, get out and enjoy the great live football, and if you can't, keep it locked on the NPL Victoria Facebook and YouTube platforms, and don't miss a second of the action, because we've had some great action here tonight in Dandenong, and we've still got 10 minutes left.
Yeah, and it looks like Anthony Polyak is going to come on here for Dandenong City, and I did see Sean Filipovic at one point. I'm not sure if he's going to get warmed up and get ready, but it looks like Anthony Polyak is going to make his way into this game that is seemingly all but over now, and it looks like it's Dandenong City with 3 points here.
Jiba does well to cut out the pass from Kelly to Zach Thompson. And the man from Queensland, Jake Sabatera, will make way tonight, being replaced by Paul Jack. He's putting a good shift for his first ever seat tonight at home.
Yeah, he's done well, and he's added some quality in the final third for Dandenong City, and it was definitely one thing that if you look back 6 weeks ago, you'd say this Dandenong City side really needs some life in their front line, and now it almost looks like they've got players aplenty in that front third. They've got Santalab, they've got Polyak, they've got Sabatero, they've got so many options in that front line. Don't forget they've got Filipovic also, so they've got options now, Dandenong City, and it's a good thing to have when you're battling relegation.
And there's been a lot of talk about the 3XA League boys coming in, and I suppose take Adrian Lee out of the equation, but the likes of Brendan Sandelab and Adrian Lee, Calvaleri, have just come off a full season in the A-League, so they're fully match fit. They're ready to go. A lot of ex-A-League players come in, they just take a couple of months off, do whatever they want, and think they're just going to ease back into the league, and it never happens. But in the terms of Brendan Sandelab and Calvaleri, they're coming in ready to go, and they'll shake up this league.
Yeah, and don't forget, they've come off the back of being full-time professionals, so they would have been doing pre-season, a good 12, 16 months ago, so they're fully fit, ready to go, and, let's not forget, Santala did play in the grand final, so, he's in form right now, and he's definitely showed it tonight that he's here to score goals, and he's here to help Dandenong City stay in the top flight of Victorian football.
Well, there's no RBB here, or Shed fans from Perth, but he's definitely found a niche night of celebrating with the Dandenong City faithful who have warmed to him on a very chilly night here in Dandenong. As we see Topalovic play down the line, finds Polyak. He's been in the park for a couple of minutes here, looking to inject himself straight in, and turns Constantinides, and don't they let him know about it on the far side. You've got to love a moment like that, especially when it's 3-0.
Yeah, Dandenong City, they've had such a rough start to the year. They can start to probably enjoy their life in the top flight of Victorian football. Let's not forget they once upon a time Altona Magic put 5 past them here, so they've had some dark days in recent months, but you can see they're definitely a lot happier right now, and seeing their team win, I'm sure, is bringing joy to them right now.
What's the segment on the South Melbourne Facebook page? Is it KK's Corner that he does in the sheds after the game? Is that the one we've seen floating around?
We have. I don't think we're going to see it floating around after this game, because this has been a pretty...
And James Kelly with one hell of a shot off the post. And Poljack has been ruled offside on the follow-up through, but that shot from James Kelly was at least 45 yards out. Almost broke the left-hand upright.
Yeah, James Kelly, I thought when he left his boot that was destined for the top corner, but it rattled the inside of the post, and Poljak's follow-up did hit the back of the net, but it was offside. But back to my point, I think this has been a really poor performance from South Melbourne. I think if South Melbourne fans are honest with themselves, this hasn't really been the South Melbourne we've seen in recent weeks. So, look, they've got some soul-searching to do to try and rekindle that form they have had in the previous month or so. Yeah,
they have taken some big scalps in the last couple of weeks, and next week they return to Lakeside, where they take on Port Melbourne on Sunday afternoon. As we see, we have to take a guess to be South fans leaving early to beat the traffic home out of Endeavour Hills.
Yeah, I would take it, unless that's Dandenong City supporters trying to get a seat inside to have a bit of a feast afterwards, but I'd imagine that is the South supporters going home right now.
Is it Santa Lab shout tonight, you reckon, at the club?
Yeah, I reckon you'd think so.
Does he ring the bell at the Croatian club? We'll find out in about 10 minutes' time as the ball's cleared from South Melbourne. Finds Topalovic, who just plays it up. And the South Melbourne coach still urging his men on. He's got the clap going. Very theatrical on the sideline here next to us. And Dandy City's coaching staff urging the players on to keep the goal scoring flowing through here, as we see Lemonopoulos break the lines, and he's left the ball, but he's still involved. This is this mixed rule with the offside that confuses a lot of spectators and even players alike, where the player goes to the ball and they say until the ball's touched, you're not offside, but in that case, he hadn't touched the ball.
Yeah, Billy Constantinides wasn't offside. It was really Melvin Beckett, I think, that was offside there. But he left it nonetheless. But, yeah, it's one of those things where it's confusing, and I don't like to talk about it.
It changes every week, Matt. Let's be honest. Who knows what it could be this week? It could be something completely different next week too. Not too long left here And Souchon plays the ball long, up to the edge of the 18-yard box, finds Polyak. And Reganovic comes out to collate the ball and plays it long, trying to race it forward. Giba being chased down by Lombardo. Ball ends up on the left wing. South happy to keep it. Constantinides whips it in. No real threat there for the Dandenong City defence. They've been quite good tonight from what we've seen in the opening stages. And having lost Adrian Lee in the 20th minute, they've held up well.
Yeah, so I have to correct myself. It was Lee Menopoulos that was offside, not Melvin Beckett, but a bit of a brain fade. But yeah, back to your point, Bryce. Look, I think Dandenong City, they just wanted it more tonight, and you can just tell they've wanted it more. And look, South Melbourne, just very flat performance. Probably really didn't come out of the sheds really in that second half. They had a patch of 5-10 minutes of where they, got on top of the game, but ultimately, really, it's been all Dandenong City tonight. And Demir Sulchin has had to make some good saves, but I think in the context of the whole game, Dandenong City have been the better side.
Well, I don't think I've seen so much hype for a round fixture in the NPL Victoria this season as we have for this clash, being the sole fixture on a Friday night, and with the inclusions that Dandenong City have signed in the last couple of weeks. And if it was better weather with less rain, mind you, it hasn't rained here, we probably would have had more of a crowd, but it's still been, I reckon, 500 people rock up tonight.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty standard Dandenong City crowd, to be honest, and they seem to do well in these Friday night games, and they have the kids training before to boost the crowd numbers, but yeah, I think it's been a good outing for Dandenong City tonight.
And South spray the ball across the face of goal, and James Kelly does well just to clear it. Menopoulos will keep it in, and when he's side a throw in. You can let us know your thoughts on the match through the Facebook Live platform, or of course YouTube as well. If you've enjoyed the match, as we see a challenge there from James Kelly, who earned himself a talking to and a yellow card from referee Sean Evans in the dying stages of the match. Match has definitely calmed down since that third goal from Santalab. Cool, we see a late goal here from South Melbourne. We've got a lot of numbers forward, only Giba at the halfway mark. Sean Evans just finishing off his notes in his book. Goes in the back pocket. And we're ready to go. Ball whipped into the back stoke. Souchin clears it. And Zach Thompson clears it. And Santalab does well for the battle. Melvin Beckett chases him down, and it's Santalab versus Beckett, and Zach Thompson gets involved, and he probably shouldn't have passed it off, Matt, because one-on-one, I reckon I would have backed Brendan Santalab there.
Yeah, Santalab had the momentum as South Melbourne break away down his left-hand side, but it looks like Topper did very well to deal with that, as South Melbourne are going to have a corner to probably round out this fixture.
Marcus Schroen going over to the far left side. It's hard to work out which coaching bench is winning the match because they're both at a ridiculous level of enthusiasm at the moment as the ball's whipped in from Schroen. Finds a South Melbourne player. The ball's cleared. And Topalovic more than happy just to whack it over the halfway line. And Brendan Santalab does chase down Reganovic, who's forced to play it back. And finds a head of Topalovic again. And Unmac happy to do the same thing. And not a bad clearance because it ends up right near the corner flag. And will give Dandenong City the chance to really squeeze in South Melbourne, who are in no rush to get this ball back into play.
Yeah, I mean, despite the cries of Esteban Qantas, they've really just seemed to be just dragging on now and just probably waiting for the 90th minute. There doesn't seem to be a lot of fire left in the belly right now as they look to break forward here.
They've got some space here through Lee Menopoulos on the right-hand side. Going one-on-one with Luke Pilkington. And he'll win his side a corner with less than a minute remaining plus stoppage time. As the fourth official gets his board ready to pop it up and let us know. McCormack clears. Beckett turns and looks for a free kick, and Sean Evans blows a free kick. I'm not entirely sure, Matt, if that was a warranted free kick, but nonetheless it is. And it's played quickly to the back stick, looking for Constantinides. Just misses everyone and goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, goal kick in the end there for South Melbourne. Both teams, I think, are waiting for the 90th minute, and so the supporters, as they slowly make their way towards the grandstand side and into the clubhouses. There will be confirmation of 3 minutes of injury time.
Salchin in no rush to get it back in. Happy to play it long. Ball played down. Finds Skapetis on the left-hand side. Whips the ball in. Finds Constantinides. And Lemonopoulos is called offside as the ball goes in the back of the net. That will not count on the scoreboard as Sasha Oglanovsky lets his defence know he wants a clean sheet. As you might have just heard, he's not too happy with even the potential of the ball going in the back of the net, Matt.
Yeah, Sasha made himself loud and clear there. I think he wants a clean sheet. So, but again, Demir Salcha, another great save there. I mean, he's made some very good saves throughout this game. The resulting effort did hit the back of the net, but was again offside as Esmail Qantas seems to be picking a fight with absolutely everybody here on the sideline. He's now questioning the amount of injury time we've got. Fair to say he's not one happy man.
To be fair, the Dandenong City coaching bench did laugh at there was only 3 minutes when there was 3 goals and 3 subs, but you got to respect the referee's decision, especially in respect round 2. So we're not going to question us. Pilkington's over the ball. Plays in Zach Thompson. He's done well tonight, Thompson. And Beckett is in a battle with 2 Dandenong City players. And unfortunately can't win out. And it will be a City thrown at the wrong end of the park for South Melbourne. City in no rush to get this back in through Pilkington. As the City fans on the far side bang away at the sponsor boards here. Something we haven't heard in the opening rounds of the NPL Victoria. It's been a pretty quiet place to come to until recent weeks.
Yeah, I think Dandenong City, the one thing they've got a lot of things going for them. One thing they lack is a bit of a vocal supporter group. I mean, Melbourne Knights have it, St Albans Saints have it, North Geelong have it, but Dandenong City, I think they need to start recruiting a bit of a supporter group to get some noise down here at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. It's a bit quiet sometimes.
We'll have to check the budget, see if it's still available after the recent signings, but there's only a couple of minutes left here, and that is full time at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. The final score: the home side, Dandenong City 3, South Melbourne 0. Matt Sultana, final thoughts, please.
Yeah, look, good result there for Dandenong City. I think in the end of the day, they just wanted it more than South Melbourne did, and Brendan Santalab showed why he, I guess, is getting the treatment he's getting here down at Dandenong City, because he chipped in with 2 goals, and Carl Valeri was consistent throughout the game. Obviously, we did lose Adrian Leia early on the game, so we wish him all the best in a speedy recovery, as he did get a bit of a cut behind the head for that incident that did take place in the first half. But if you're Dandenong City, onwards and upwards. If you're South Melbourne, probably some further thinking and some retrospectiveness required after what had been a good month, but a disappointing performance here tonight.
There's plenty of NPL Victoria action on the way tomorrow. My name is Bryce Ruthven, joined by Matt Sultana. You'll find us at Altona Magic versus Melbourne Knights from Paisley Park, 6 o'clock. Enjoy your night, stay warm, and catch all the action tomorrow afternoon on the NPL Victoria Facebook and YouTube platforms.